Okay, so today we are pulling back the curtain on one of the biggest mysteries of the internet, digital advertising. We're going to break down how those sometimes eerily specific ads find their way to your screen. We're diving deep into the world of programmatic advertising. Let's get right into it.
You know the feeling, right? You look at a pair of shoes on one website, and then boom, those exact shoes are everywhere. They're on your news feed, in your email, on sites that have nothing to do with shoes. I promise it's not your imagination. It's a really complex, automated system at work, and we're going to break down exactly how it all happens. So, to really understand why this system even exists, we have to rewind a little bit and look at the problem it was built to solve. Because not that long ago, buying ads online was just a total mess. It was all manual. Think about an advertiser trying to get an ad on a popular blog. We're talking phone calls, emails, back and forth negotiations. It could take weeks just for one single spot. It was a huge, inefficient puzzle. Yeah, just look at the difference here. The old way was all about that slow, manual grind. Phone calls, emails, negotiations that dragged on forever. There wasn't much transparency, and honestly, a lot of it was just guesswork. Now, the new way, it's the complete opposite. It's all automated. Transactions happen instantly, they're driven by data, and they allow for incredibly precise targeting. It's a whole different world. So, how did we get from that slow, clunky process to the lightning fast system we have today? Well, the answer is one single, really powerful concept: programmatic advertising. At its heart, the definition is actually surprisingly simple. It's just using software to buy and sell ads. That's it. Instead of people haggling over deals, computer programs do all the work automatically. But, don't let that simple definition fool you. It hides a whole world of complexity and power.
So, why did basically the entire industry jump on this bandwagon? Well, first, there's automation. It just gets rid of that slow human part of the process. That in turn creates massive efficiency. It's way faster and cheaper. And probably most important of all, it leads to incredible effectiveness. Because all that data lets advertisers find their exact audience, which makes every single campaign perform better.
Okay, so now we know why programmatic advertising is a thing. Now for the really cool part, the how. How does this software actually buy and sell ads in literally the blink of an eye? The best way to think about it is like a stock market, but for ads. And instead of happening on a trading floor in New York, it all happens in the milliseconds it takes for a web page to load on your screen. It is ridiculously fast.
So let's break down who's who in this auction. First, you've got the buyer. That's the advertiser. They use a special tool called a demand-side platform, or a DSP, to manage their campaigns and bid on ad space automatically. Then, on the other side, you have the seller. That's the website or publisher. They use what's called a supply-side platform, or an SSP, to manage all their ad space and put it up for auction. These two platforms, the DSP and the SSP, are the software that talk to each other to make the whole thing happen. Okay, so here's where it gets kind of nuts. The moment you click to load a web page, the publisher's SSP sends out a signal that basically says, hey, I've got a visitor right here and an ad spot available. All the advertiser's DSPs see that call, they analyze the data about you and the page you're on, and if it looks like a good match, they place a bid. The highest bidder wins the auction and their ad gets served to your screen. All of this happens before the page even finishes loading. Wild, right? Now, this tech didn't just appear overnight. It was built up piece by piece. It kind of started with products like Google AdWords way back in 2000. Then came ad exchanges, which were basically marketplaces for unsold ad space. But the real revolution kicked off around 2008 with the DSPs and SSPs we just talked about. And finally, you had data management platforms, or DMPs, come in to organize the crazy amounts of audience data that fuel this entire system. Okay, so the system is complex. It's automated, it's powerful. We get it. But just having the technology isn't enough, right? So how do advertisers and publishers actually use it to win?
For the buyers, the advertisers, it all starts with a crystal clear strategy. You have to know your goals, choose your tech partners very carefully, and really, really know your audience data. And this is a big one, you have to test everything. Programmatic is all about iterating. You have to be willing to fail, learn from what didn't work, and make your campaigns better over time. And for the sellers, the publishers, it's a very similar story. You've got to define what success even looks like with clear metrics, or KPIs. You need the right people with the right skills on your team, and you absolutely cannot treat your programmatic team like it's off in its own little silo. It has to be a core part of the business. And just like the buyers, it's all about building strong relationships and having a culture of testing and innovating.
Now, if you want to know why getting this stuff right is so incredibly important, just look at this quote. It highlights the massive potential for wasted money. So say you spend 100 grand. The various middlemen might take 25% of that right off the top. Then, if only half your ads are even viewable, meaning they actually appeared on screen, your original $100,000 spend results in only about $37,500 of what's called working media. That's ads people actually see. The stakes are just incredibly high. So this ecosystem is constantly changing to try and solve problems like that wasted ad spend. It's never standing still. So what's next? Where is all this technology headed?
Well, the future seems to be focused on a few key areas. First, making viewability the standard, which means advertisers would only pay for ads that are actually seen. Second, creating a cleaner, more transparent supply chain with fewer middlemen taking a cut. Third, using machine learning and AI to make the bidding way smarter and more adaptive. And finally, creating standard ways to identify users across all their different devices, their phone, their laptop, their tablet. A huge part of creating that cleaner supply chain is just making the auction process itself more efficient. See, some of the early versions of this tech could actually slow down websites because your browser was trying to run way too many auctions all at once. That created a terrible user experience, and the industry is working hard right now to fix it. And this diagram here shows you exactly what I mean. On the left, you see the old in-browser auction. Your browser has to do all the heavy lifting, juggling all these auctions, and it just slows everything down. The solution is the server-to-server model you see on the right. In this case, the web page makes just one request to an outside server, and that server runs the auction with all the partners. It's so much cleaner, so much faster, and it just makes for a better experience for everybody involved. So, all of this brings us to our final question. This technology is getting more powerful, more efficient, and more woven into our digital lives every single day. As this evolution continues, it's really worth asking, who is the ultimate winner in this automated world? Is it the advertiser who's getting a better return on their investment? Is it the publisher who's making more money? Or is it you, the user, who's supposedly getting more relevant content? Definitely something to think about.